Greetings and salutations, friends, old friends, and hopefully some new friends. I am back. You may have noticed a particular absence for a few days. I was very busy uh, since last, I don't know, since last Thursday or so. I have a great deal of work that I needed to do at the cabin to get it ready for my family to spend the summer there, and so I was busily doing that. Almost did a show a few times, but thought it best if I just wait to get back to civilization. And also, I really, after doing a 12-hour day, was feeling a little bit too drained to do anything else other than drink beer and fall over, which is my usual go to when I have to put in a hard day's work. Uh, that is what it is. So tonight, I have a very special show, actually, a show that I have been thinking about and planning for quite some time, because it would appear that there are a great number of people that are out there uh, scamming the public, not just scamming the public with fake alien stories. Lots of people do that. But this set of people is particularly deplorable and particularly reprehensible because there are an actual group of people. They don't know each other, so maybe that's the wrong term. But there are several different people and parties that have been out there on the UFO circuit selling stories about aliens. And their so called proof of these stories is actually human remains. In many of these cases, it gets quickly proven that the claims of aliens are completely and totally garbage, and that these are human remains, somewhat deformed human remains in some cases, but human remains nonetheless. So I thought it would be really a community service if we expose those people who are making these false claims about having alien bodies when in fact these people are essentially grave robbers, and they are attempting to profit from grave robbing, which, near as I can tell, in most civilized countries is illegal. But this happens still. Some of the famous cases of this are the Roswell slides, wherein a mummy from a museum was claimed to be part of the Roswell crash. That scam was headed by none other than Jaime Maussan. And Jaime Maussan is also involved in tonight's scam, the Peru mummies. Isn't it great to know that Jaime Maussan is not in prison after scamming, I don't know, tens of thousands of people out of a pay-per-view event that cost quite a lot of money, as I recall. I think the pay-per-view was like $100. Later, it gets proven that the slide was nothing to do with aliens. It was just a picture, a negative, a slide from a museum showing a child mummy. They claimed it was an alien. Did Jaime Maussan give any of that money back? Of course he didn't. And in fact, I believe that Jaime Maussan learned that if you really want to make a lot of money scamming people about aliens, you need to involve a corpse. Because his next and latest scam is tonight's subject, the Peru alien mummies. Now, you may have seen these very strange looking mummies with big heads, right? Strange fingers and strange toes in strange positions. You may have seen x rays. There is actually a documentary about this. Um, and that documentary was put out by none other than Gaia, the same company that brought us the great truth of Corey Goode and David Wilcock, right? And Emery Smith, he autopsied 3,000 aliens. Oh no, I'm sorry. He corrected himself. He examined 3,000 tissue samples of aliens. This is the quality of information that we get from Gaia. But somehow, some of these scams take hold of the collective consciousness, and people even people that I know that are not the least bit into UFOs or aliens, I can't tell you, probably 100 different people messaged me about this story of these alien mummies in Peru. So we're going to cite fair use. I'm going to put up my fair use banner and I'm going to share with you the trailer from the documentary. And interestingly, I have found that you can watch it for free, the entire documentary on YouTube with ads, but still it's free to watch. But I can save you an hour and a half because basically they show you these mummies and they make all kinds of fantastical claims and keep on over and over again claiming that they could not be human remains. They're just too different. They couldn't be human. But we'll get to the proof that they're human or something ordinary, not extraordinary, not alien, in a bit of time. First, let's put up our fair use banner. We're going to be sharing this. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public about the scam, fake alien Peru mummies, and we're critiquing the video we're sharing. And this, of course, is certainly covered under fair use and allowable by law. So now we have our fair use banner up. Let's look at the trailer to this documentary. I love the trailer. I'm sorry, but I love the trailer. It's like every hokey thing that you should do in a trailer for a documentary of fake alien shit that you want to sell. It's got it all, folks. It's got pyramids. It's got, ancient stuff, right? It's got bad alien animations. It's just bad music, that bad dramatic music. What if these are aliens? And I love it. We're not saying it's aliens, but they're aliens. That dance that everybody does looks like these clowns are doing the same dance. Let's take a look at the trailer for this. It's called Alien Mummies of Peru. That's the name of the documentary. If you just put in the YouTube search engine, Alien Mummies of Peru, you will find it. And let's take a look at this trailer. I look like from a video game. So melodramatic, right? Sounds good, right? Catches your interest. Boy, what are these things? Are these aliens? I love how they threw demons in too. Hey, these could be demons, right? No, friends, they're not demons. They're certainly not aliens. And we're going to get to the proof of that. First of all, I think it's important that we backtrack a little bit. So these so-called alien mummies were discovered by a certain person in Peru and then taken to the likes of Jaime Maussan, who never, ever heard a good story about aliens that he could sell, even if it was fake, that he wouldn't accept. Jaime Maussan is a true believer. You could take him anything. This guy was behind, the Roswell slide hoax. He was also behind the marmoset monkey alien hoax. Did you know that? Jaime Maussan once claimed that a mummified marmoset monkey was an alien creature. Turns out DNA proved that was bullshit, and a primatologist looked at it and said, that's a marmoset monkey. Maybe you shaved it down or used some kind of hair remover on it, but that's a marmoset monkey. That is not an alien. Now, Jaime Maussan's latest scam is the most despicable yet. Because it's one thing to use the body of a monkey and pretend it's an alien and make a lot of money fooling stupid people. And it's a whole nother ball game what happened here. Now, the person who is selling this literally sold some of these so-called alien Peru mummies. Turns out he's a known grave robber and scam artist. Maybe we should start right there, right? The originator of the story, the discoverer of these alien alien mummies of Peru, is actually a despicable character who is a grave and antiquities thief, well known to the Peruvian government. And we're going to see the proof of that. Friends, right there, the beginning of the story, see, sometimes these people succeed with these alien hoaxes and fake stories, not because they lie to you, but because they leave things out of the story that you probably want to know. And one of these things that you probably want to know about the alien Peru mummies is that the discoverer of these alien mummies is a well-known grave robber, antiquities thief, and is well known to the Peruvian government. He's a criminal. Why didn't they put that in the documentary? Why didn't they put that guy's rap sheet in the documentary? How many times that guy's been caught robbing graves? And apparently, like I said, in most civilized countries, stealing people's dead bodies or body parts is illegal. And apparently it's illegal in Peru as well. So somebody who's not an English speaker, and this video is odd because it shows somebody speaking, but then they dub over him. They like blank out the audio and they dub over him in English. It's a little strange to me, but the information is very, very good. And I verified it with one other source as being accurate. So we're going to cite fair use and we are going to share this. And this is called Who is Selling Alien Mummies in Peru? Excellent research here, and we are going to cite fair use and share that. Yeah, who is selling aliens? Nazca humanoid mummies, the big fraud. Yeah, what a fraud. This is quite a fraud. And I apologize, some of this is most of this is not in English, some of it is dubbed over, but we'll get the gist of the information. And I'm going to be citing fair use. We're educating the public about these fake Peruvian alien mummies. That is a scam and a con.
Con Leandro Benedicto Rivera. Adelante, por favor.
In this 2018 video, Mario, with his face covered, claims to have yet another mummy in his possession and goes on to offer it to a group of French journalists for a mere $100,000. So who is this Mario Leandro Benedicto Rivera Sarmiento? To find out, we'll have to do a little background research. This article from 2007 says that Leandro Rivera Sarmiento, 34, was arrested by the Peruvian police in...
Yeah, so he was involved in a series of criminal actions against innocent victims who visit upper-class residential districts in the Lake Pipes part of the city. One of these two individuals, a large number of counterfeit bills and fake gold were found that were used for fraud. So the person who discovered these so-called alien mummies was involved in a fake gold scam. And this has been verified. This is accurate information.
Puno, along with 10 other individuals. They were all accused of fraud involving fake...
Yeah, so this man is convicted, actually. He was convicted of this criminal act. He is a convicted fraudster. This is before he finds any of these alien bodies. He is a con man and a fraud artist. Maybe, just maybe, Jaime Maussan and Gaia TV should have shared that information, that the person who discovered these so-called alien mummies was previously a convicted con artist and fraudster before he found these so-called alien mummies.
Fake gold and counterfeit cash. And here's another article from 2010, which tells the story of the Peruvian police finding 4 boxes filled with...
Yeah, heavy blow to the traders of the remains of pre-Incan cultures. And a lot of 4 boxes delivered from Nazca that arrived at the office of the logistics company Cruz del Sur in Puno They found bone remains and relics that could belong to the Nazca culture. So not only is he a convicted con artist and fraud artist, but he is illegally dealing in possibly stolen antiquities from Nazca, which is also illegal. They left that part out of the documentary too.
Human remains and ancient artifacts that were addressed to Benedicto Rivera Sarmiento, 37, who was later detained by the
Yes, so it was established during the investigation that the relics were being delivered to a Puno address, Leonardo Benedicto Riviera San Mateo, 37, also known as Leah, a member of the gang Los Palipanos de Inca, who profited from desecrating artifacts belonging to pre-Spanish cultures. The individual was delivered to the police office after several hours of detainment, after the detainment operation.
A band of robbers was exposed who had been destroying archaeological sites of the pre-Columbian Nazca culture. Here is Mario himself on Facebook.
Yeah, so this is the guy who discovered these so-called alien mummies. A guy who, like, look at his criminal past. He's a convicted con artist.
Here is the page of Leandro Rivera Sarmiento. In 2011, this user added 45 photographs of artifacts belonging to the pre-Columbian cultures of Peru, as the captions say. On Leandro Rivera's friends list, we find foreign nationals who indicate on their pages collecting antiquities as a hobby.
Yeah, so basically this guy and his friends are robbing graves and selling the artifacts illegally to private antiquities dealers. That's where the story begins. The story begins with a known con artist and antiquities thief finding an alien mummy. Yeah, what are the odds, right? What are the odds that this guy found an alien mummy? Come on, friends. Right here. We don't even really need to go any further, but we will, because in the documentary, these people make an astonishing number of ridiculous, factless claims. Like, there's no way these could be human because of the structure, and they're so different from humans, and the nasal cavities are nothing like a human's, and on and on and on. And pardon me if I've been to this rodeo before, but I've seen scams like this before. We've seen it with Dr. Stephen Greer, right? And the Atacama humanoid, which turned out to be a human fetus. We've been to this rodeo before, so I'm not interested in speculation. It's also interesting to note that the so-called scientist that they used to determine that these couldn't be human was some Russian crackpot scientist, not a real scientist, right? Not a real scientist whatsoever. So we can get to the proof that these things are absolutely not alien. And I'm going to share my screen once again. This is from an article, a Russian science article, actually. I had to have it translated here into English. But we're going to share that as proof that these so-called alien mummies they have nothing to do with aliens. And the truth of what they actually are is despicable. The fact that these people have done this is despicable. Okay. So the article is as many as 5 mummies of aliens from Peru. From the editor of anthropologist.ru, headlines about the mummies of aliens in Peru flashed in the news again. This time there were as many as 5 of them. And according to journalists, scientists have proven that the finds are not fake. In this regard, I must inform you that the experts of anthropologist.ru in early September had a chance to participate in the examination of the mysterious mummies. It began with the fact that the editorial office received a letter from a Russian scientist, doctor of technical services. You may have heard that several humanoid mummies were recently found in Peru. I happen to be involved in this work. So basically, this fake Russian scientist invited real anthropologists to look at these things. Alexei Bondrerev says, I was asked to comment on a number of x-rays of mummies of supposedly alien humanoids found or manufactured in Peru. In particular, it was necessary to check if there was any animal bones in the skeletons. I am limited in the analysis of images since I am not a radiologist, and the images of bones of an X-ray image differs significantly from plain images, photos, drawings, and three-dimensional images of natural objects. I rarely have to deal with X-rays, unlike the other options listed, since paleontological and astrozoological objects are naturally freed from soft tissues. For this reason, a number of conclusions are preliminary, but we can immediately say that the skeleton is a constructor assembled from dissimilar elements. So not only are these not aliens, essentially what they did is cobble together bones from both human remains and animal remains to make these fake alien mummies. Okay, brush. In the X-ray of the hand, metacarpus contains the radius bone. Fragments of the diaphysis of the tubular bones and the metacarpal bones on the hand turned upside down, and the fingers together with the phalanges. The metacarpal and metatarsal bones are mixed and in complete disarray and in arbitrary orientations. And this goes on and on. He explains how these fake mummies are put together. Each one of them is a artificially constructed construct. It's not a regular body that was just buried or mummified that somebody found. These are all constructed carnival gags. Some of you may be old enough to remember carnival attractions. You know, I remember when I was a child, you know, you go and you pay your 50 cents and you're supposed to see a bearded lady. And then when you look at the guy, it looks like a guy, it looks like a man in a dress. That's what it looked like to me. I don't know. But P.T. Barnum was very famous for these sort of attractions where he would create a fake, right? The Fiji mermaid being one of the most famous. The Fiji mermaid was made by taking a monkey and sewing the bottom of a fish to a monkey and then drying it out. That became the Fiji mermaid. These are Fiji mermaids. These are constructed fakes made out of fake human body, or excuse me, made out of some real human body parts and some animal parts and plaster. These are all fake. Radiocarbon analysis results concluded one of the scent forms is incomplete, but apparently this is not a human bone, but something else. The bone of a Wawata human who ate mainly corn, but also seafood, collagen preservation is good, is dated around 1300 to 1400 AD, end of pre-Columbian era. The Maria specimen is clearly older, circa 250 to 400 years. That's then Wawata's human bone. So in other words, the bones, the radiocarbon dating of the bones in one of these mummies don't match. You know, like the leg is from, 1300 to 1400 years ago, and the, another bone would have a completely different dating. Folks, that does not happen if this was a real intact body. These are artificial constructs. That's what they are. Conclusions, it's important to see the conclusions here. Most of the bones used, judging by the non-growing pineal glands, belong to children, some probably to cubs or animals of different ages. Conclusions, mummies are fakes made from random bones by people ignorant of anatomy. Limitations of skeletons made from bone fragments that are practically undetectable from the images provided. Probably this was not done to obscure the tracks. It's just more convenient not to bother with joints. Just stick over the fragments with plaster. The resulting constructions are not functional in any way, and they belong to living beings. Skulls of dolls, not mummies, can be identified, but when considering peeled skulls. Wow. So basically, some dirtballs took human bones, children's bones, animals' bones, and glued these things together. And I just have to say that many people in conspiracy land fell for this scam, hook, line, and sinker. I got into quite a heated conversation with Jay Widener, who swears that these have to be real. And I said, have you seen this information? And by the way, the information that I just shared is just one source. I have some 4 different sources all saying that these are completely and totally fake. there is a channel that I'm aware of, Caitlin Dougherty. She runs a YouTube channel called Ask a Mortician, and she don't ask me why I know about her channel. I don't know. Call it morbid curiosity. But she talks about a lot of things related to death and corpses and things like that. She's an actual mortician. And I thought, who better to offer an opinion on whether these are fake or not than an actual mortician? So I am gonna cite fair use once again. We're educating the public about these fake alien Nazca mummies. And this is her video titled Corpse Hoaxes, Aliens and Cadaver Factories. Interesting video. We're only interested in the part where she's talking about these Peruvian mummies because I think it's very relevant here. And remember, this is a mortician, someone who has seen hundreds and hundreds, thousands probably, maybe tens of thousands of human bodies and remains. She is more than qualified to look at this and offer her expert opinion about whether this is real or a fabricated bunch of nonsense. Okay, friends.
But not all hoaxes concerning the dead are completely devoid of some sort of grounding element, even if that element is horribly misrepresented. For decades, people have speculated that the Nazca lines in Peru are the work of aliens, a landing strip for ancient astronauts. So to back up this theory, those who study UFOs have claimed that pre-Columbian Peruvian mummies are proof of extraterrestrials. I'm not saying there are no aliens. I read that New York Times piece. I see what you're doing, government. But why those mummies? It's because of their elongated skulls, which...
Yeah, and Brian Forrester is another one of these. I'm hesitant to call him a scammer, but I think that he plays fast and loose with the facts. He keeps suggesting that these elongated skulls are alien or somewhat alien in nature, right? Maybe they were stranded aliens that took up residence here on Earth when their spaceship landed. And he has an incredible amount of speculation about what may be, but he offers zero evidence, zero proof that these are anything other than artificially elongated skulls. There was a practice where people would bind the skulls in order to get them to elongate. This was part of their culture. These are human beings, Brian Forrester. These are not aliens. And if they are, prove it, buddy. Prove it. He never will, but he's been selling this theory that these are aliens for years and years. Financing vacations down there, right? He goes down there and he hangs out and he sees the local museums with these things. He puts YouTube videos up, all on somebody else's money. Because he's been claiming for years that these are aliens, but he will never show us the proof that they're actually aliens.
Are as a result of their craniums being bound and shaped as babies. This shaping was part of how their community identified and was part of the cultural's ideal physical aesthetic.
Yeah, let me just take that back. Yeah, so here we see an image of what one of these native people with the elongated skull actually looked like in real life. Looks like a lady with an unusually large head, but it doesn't look like an alien to me. Looks like a human being who, for one reason or another, decided to, cranially deform themselves for a given aesthetic that was popular in that culture.
Physical aesthetic. Unfortunately, the shape of their skulls also fit the mold of what an alien supposedly looks like. Since the Roswell UFO incident of 1947, many have tried to present indigenous Andean mummies as alien life forms. Most recently, a documentary series by the website Gaia.com titled Unearthing Nazca presents what appears to be a pre-Columbian child mummy as actually being an ancient Peruvian alien. With the characteristic elongated skull, the child mummy is huddled up with its arms wrapped around its legs. Its skin is an odd powdery white, and
yes, and many experts have looked at these things and said that the skin being white, it's not skin, that's actually plaster used to glue together all of these separate human body part bones that they use to make this fake alien mummy.
its hands and feet only have 3 long digits each. It has no nose or ears, and the eyes seem heavy-lidded. They called the mummy Maria. Not only is this a hoax and racist, but it's a violation of Peruvian grave robbing and human remains trafficking laws. The head of vertebrate paleontology at Lima University of San Marcos, Rodolfo Salas Gismondi, believes that, judging from the X-rays shown on unearthing Nazca and early photographs of the remains, Maria is a pre-Columbian mummy that was mutilated and altered in order to fit the description of an alien. The white powdery substance could be covering up evidence of alterations made to her body. And while it can't be proven that the team behind unearthing Nazca committed these crimes, experts say crimes definitely were committed. But when considering corpse hoaxes, what's been called the master hoax of them all is the story of the German corpse.
And that's a story for another time, friends. So, here we have some of the world's leading experts weighing in and saying that these things are definitely not aliens. These are, some dirtball glued together a bunch of human remains, a bunch of human bones, and try to pass it off as an alien mummy. And I just wanted to say, that is really a reprehensible thing to do. Can we let people rest in peace, leave their bodies in the ground where they belong? I've never been a supporter of even ancient Egyptian mummies being put on display. To me, it seems very disrespectful. While I'm interested, and I've certainly been to the Natural History Museum in Philadelphia, which has several mummies on display, and watched them with great interest, I don't like it. I think that you should let human people, once they die, rest in peace and not be gawked at in a museum. That's my take. You're free to whatever beliefs that you have. However, the fact that somebody glued together a bunch of different human body parts, especially involving children, remember, first they got to go to a bunch of graves and steal a bunch of human bones, right? Then they got to sit around gluing them together. And who was involved in this? Gaia TV, this known fraudster scammer who's already been caught scamming the public with fake gold, then scamming antiquities dealers, well, maybe not scamming, but selling antiquities that he had no right to even own or, take from an archaeological site, selling them to antiquities dealers in Europe. Who else is involved? Jaime Maussan, who's been involved now in several hoaxes involving remains, dead bodies. And, come on, Jaime Maussan. How many times are you going to show us a dead body and tell us that it's an alien before we stop believing you? What is this, the third time? Like I said, we have the Roswell slides, we have the marmoset monkey, and now these mummies that are completely and totally. How many hoaxes does Jaime Maussan get? But hey, let's give him another documentary on Netflix, right? Or I'm not sure if it's Netflix or Amazon Prime. He definitely has a documentary on Amazon Prime, right? You got to make good money having a documentary on Amazon Prime, I would imagine. And this is the top of the food chain. A guy who is so despicable, he would push alien mummies glued together by a bunch of children's bones and animal bones, plastered together, and he would sell that as a real alien, right? Great story, though, until you get to what actually happened. And the fact that somebody sat around gluing together a bunch of alien bones. Excuse me, alien bones. Somebody sat around gluing together a bunch of human bones and animal bones to make these things. So was it Jaime Maussan? Was it the people at Gaia who profited? Gaia profited the most from this scam. They're still running ads on YouTube for you to buy a documentary or buy a membership to Gaia based on these Peruvian mummies of aliens that aren't aliens. Yeah. I don't know what else to say except that I'm glad that we can inform the public of the truth. We have, ample and supportive evidence that these things are faked alien mummies. They're not real. They're glued together, human bones, animal bones, mutilated human bones, misplaced human bones, plastered together. And I just got to say to people like Jay Weidner argued with me that I was wrong. Maybe the scientists are wrong. Okay, so Jay Weidner is going to argue with a real anthropologist, with a real forensic pathologist, and with a real mortician. who all weighed in with their expert opinions that these things were constructs, were frauds, were fakes. But Jay Weidner knows better than me and all those scientists, because he swears up and down, former Gaia employee, that they couldn't have been faked. We just heard how they were faked, Jay Weidner. And I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. You're busted here. You should stop telling people that these things are real. You're doing a disservice both to the people that you're lying to and to the imagine, just think about, what is it, 4 or 5 different human bodies that had to be ripped apart and mutilated and glued back together. Think about the memory of those people. Think about their family, their ancestors, their descendants, and how they would feel knowing that their bodies were mutilated in order to sell an alien scam. So, friends, that's what this is, an alien scam. Out of mind. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you here. Leidner sucks. He needs to be held. Very passionate views expressed by Out of Mind. He needs to be held accountable, and I hope he is someday. Puppet Master POS. Can't say that I disagree with you. Somebody else is calling Jay a wiener. Okay. Yeah, so I'll take comments and questions from the live chat. We're going to have to call this one a quick one because we're still in the middle of a heat wave, and I can't run the air conditioner while I'm doing the show here. And it's been off for 40 minutes, and I'm starting to melt already. Yeah, got to do something about the current studio situation, and I'm working on that. The coolest room in the house is actually the rec room or the basement. I might be setting some things up in there later on tonight so that this is not an issue or problem going forward. So any comments or questions for me, please do put them in all chat caps. Oh, and Reemsey with a kind and generous $5 super sticker purchase. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. This is a viewer-supported show, and viewers like Reemsey throw a couple of bucks into the hat to keep the show going. It's been a long time, Reemsey, since I, did some busking, right? I used to do magic tricks in Philadelphia. Stand on a street corner with a hat out and do magic tricks. This is kind of similar but different. So here I am doing this, and I want to thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. Continued support. Reemsey is a longtime show supporter, and I wanted to mention that Reemsey was kind enough to play his grand piano on a song of mine, which I'll be releasing on Patreon this month. That's the other way that you could support us. There's 3 ways to support us. There's a money button down there in the live chat. That's the quickest and best way to do it. Or there is a PayPal. You can donate by PayPal, and in the About section, in the description of this video, there is a link, and thanks to Six's Design for letting me know the link was broken. I have fixed it, and now you can just click on the link in the video description and make a PayPal donation, or support us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. And Ann Chirashi with the $10, I think that's Australian super sticker purchase. So thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your continued support. Ann Chirashi is a longtime show viewer and supporter and participant in the live chat. We are always happy to see her. Thank you for your kindness and your generosity. God bless both of you very much. Out of Mind says, Stephen, check out those little portable air conditioners. They work in small spaces. Yeah, well, here's the problem. I'm in this room, Out of Mind, that is like an attic room almost. It is like above the kitchen, and it's in a weird part of the house, and it is hot in here. It is crazy hot. Even with the air conditioner, it's barely, well, with the air conditioner on, it's manageable here. It's like, it's bearable. It's not hugely comfortable. It largely depends on the temperature and the humidity. And the humidity is super high right now. We're supposed to get a thunderstorm. I'm hoping that will cool it off. Genocide is asking for slides. I am releasing something to do with my Linux operating system, Altos, soon, Genocide, and I will have some slides to show you. Yes, Genocide has been making donations and busting my balls in the live chat because he wants slides. I don't know why, but we do what our audience wants, so I'm working on that. B. Baker says, sorry, I missed that part of the show. Did anyone ever get convicted? I believe, near as I can tell, B. Baker, the police are still investigating. The wheels of justice move slowly. And essentially, everybody's blaming somebody else. They're all blaming the scammer who claimed that the scammer and convicted felon, basically, who claimed that he discovered these mummies. But I believe that dude is in the wind. In other words, they can't find him to question him about these mummies. So interesting. And Genocide repeating his mantra that David Wilcock would look so cool with a mustache and be more believable too. I believe that you may be right. I don't. Yeah, of course I have. Indigo Ginzo says, have you been on Alien Scientist channel? Yes, I've been a guest there several times, and he's been a guest here several times. They mentioned you on a stream the other day. Good. I'm glad to hear it. Very good. Glad to hear it. And Rilo704 with a kind and generous $10 US donation says, as the resident normie here, you're doing the right thing by calling these sickos out, Stephen. Thank you. I consider this. Listen, we're doing a whole series on this, and we're going to cover every scuzzball, dirtball, deplorable, reprehensible human dirtbag that has used human remains in an alien scam. And we're going to cover each of them. We've got Dr. Stephen Greer to cover. We're going to do another one on Jaime Maussan and the Roswell slides. And there's more. Believe it or not, there is more. There is more of these scams. We have Lloyd Pye with the Star Child skull. And we mentioned Mr. Forrester with the Nazca elongated skull mummies. We're going to cover each of these scammers that are out there scamming people using human remains, because I think that the public deserves to know that somebody is claiming these things are aliens when in fact they are just human body parts that people are conveniently using in a scam to sell stories about aliens. But thank you for your continued kindness, generosity, and support. It's a viewer-supported show, friends. So if you want to help, hit the money button, or there's other ways to support us, which is to like, comment, subscribe, and share these videos. Smash that like button. Leave a comment. It really does help. But thank you, Rilo704. God bless you for your kindness, your generosity, and support. You make the show continue to happen. You kind and generous supporters. And like I said, the other way to support us is to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And also, just a note to the people that are listening to us in audio podcast land, Truthseekers is now available anywhere you get your podcasts, whether that be Apple Podcasts or Amazon Music or Spotify, wherever you go, iHeartRadio, you can get Truthseekers. But if you're listening in audio podcast land, you're listening to a replay and you're missing half the fun. So please do come over here and be a part of the live chat. Just go to YouTube and search the YouTube search bar for Truthseekers. One word, look for the guy with the strange sunglasses. That would be me, Stephen Cambion, your host. And smash that subscribe button and that notification bell. Then you'll know when we're doing a live broadcast like this, and you can participate in the live chat. Yes, Victorious Eagle Warfare says, don't forget that douche Emery Smith was part of the Anaconda scam. Yes, I believe that he was. He had a 3D model of it that he was showing people before the documentary came out. And I always found it great in the case of Stephen Greer. He's going to make a documentary, right, about this Anaconda 6-inch mummified humanoid being an alien. Right? But he couldn't wait for the DNA results before he released the documentary. So, of course, he releases the documentary right before everybody hears the DNA results that it's just a normal, deformed human, most likely human fetus. But that's Stephen Greed, right? Reemsey says, those mummies with elongated heads are scary looking, I think. Yeah, they definitely are scary looking. But they're just humans. They're not aliens. Strange as they may be, they are humans. Effluent for You says, thanks, Stephen. I'll look up stealth blimps are there. I believe you. The 25th Lou Elizondo stuff is a nothing burger, but who knows? Yeah, I'm predicting a nothing burger. That's what I'm predicting, Oscar. Q Grouch. Yeah. I think that this UFO report on the 25th is going to be a great big nothing burger. And I have a few sources who claim to have read it. And basically it says, yeah, there's some unidentified things flying around and we don't know what they are. We don't know if they're aliens. We don't know if they're Russian or Chinese or one of our other adversaries. But we're going to claim that they're not United States technology. So it is what it is. Take from that what you will. Nicholas asks on Twitch. I'm sorry, Mika Chaos in the Twitch chat. I'm glad to see somebody in the Twitch chat. We're dying over there, by the way. Please do follow us on Twitch. We need to grow the Twitch. Is that a real UFO in the top right? No, this is a GIF animation. So yeah, no, I don't claim that that's real. Just an interesting animation. AJ claims that the 25th, they are going to say they need time for another report. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that is absolutely positively what's going to happen. They're going to give us a big nothing burger and then say they need time to do another report and additional funding, of course, because when does the government ever do anything for free, right? MK3 Mixes says, pretty sure that document is going to be vague and not going to shed any new light on the topic, but who knows? Yeah, it looks like the New York Times article gave us a good indication that report is going to be one big nothing burger. Genocide says, I get my podcast from a guy named Chuck in Ailey downtown. Okay. If you say so. B. Baker says, oh God, the 6-inch mummy fetus, so sad. Yeah, it's sad for that. That was a human being, and it deserves some dignity and some respect. And the fact that a former medical doctor, or I don't know if I guess he's still a medical doctor, Stephen Greed, would go and make a whole documentary about that thing. And he made literally millions of dollars off of that fake alien, what essentially turned out to be a human fetus, right? Rilo 704 says, I think the UFO thing is so compartmentalized that no one knows what's going on. It could be. I think it's very common for one hand to not know what the other hand is doing. Government is a huge bureaucracy, right? And these people who claim that, like, oh no, if those were drone tests that we were flying, they would let the ships know. No, they wouldn't. No. They do what they want, these Black Project people. They don't need to notify anyone of a test. It's a secret project. They're not going to call up the local ships in the area and say, we're flying our drones off the coast of California, from our drone research center, and you're in a ship off the coast of California. So if you see anything, don't worry about it. It's just us testing our next generation drone technology. And it's funny, I posted this thing on Twitter, and it shows a picture from Mars that's crystal clear and in 4K. And then it shows a picture of, like Jeremy Corbell's grainy-ass garbage videos. And people are attacking me like I'm an asshole. Sorry if you think I'm an asshole, but if we can get a 4K super clear image off the surface of Mars, why can't we get a clear photo of these UFOs? We never do. And Elon Musk famously posted this chart that showed the rise in fidelity and clarity and resolution of camera phones over the last 10 years. And then it had a flat line, like a regular horizontal flat line for any rise in fidelity or resolution or quality of UFO photos. With the advances in cameras and technology, we should have a crystal clear photo of these things, and we never get it. It's always some grainy ass picture that's all rezzed up and looks like somebody shit on it before they put it on the internet, right? Yes, L.A. Marzulli went through the legal process to get samples of bone fragments from Peru. It's not trivial. Yeah, and he had a really, really hard time getting that permission to do that. I think he was at it for several years. But near as I can tell, all of the DNA excuse me, all of the DNA studies of these elongated skulls turned out to be, while some of the results were interesting, because some of the results basically showed that there was European DNA in that human body that was supposed to be in South America and Europe, and this is pre-Spanish Inquisition, pre-Spain invading South America. So it's interesting. Why is there, or no, I'm sorry, I think it was DNA from the biblical region that L.A. Marzulli claimed that the fallen, the Nephilim came from, which is interesting, but it's still human DNA. Renee says, so what happened to the box of dildos for David? Did Elizabeth find it? No, so far I think we're up to $19,000 as a prize if David Wilcock can find a box of dildos that I buried with his psychic powers. For those that don't know, when we first started the show, I did a special challenge for the world's worst psychic, David Wilcock, and I buried a huge box of dildos plus some extras like some high-quality tubes of anal lube and a strap-on for his wife. I buried that somewhere in the world. And I gave a challenge to David Wilcock, who claims he has superpowers and he's a psychic, right? And he's a prophet, that if he could find the box of dildos that I buried, that I would give him, I believe the original challenge was $10,000, but people kept pledging and added to it. And by the way, I still have the list of people that pledged to add several $1,000s to the prize should David Wilcock find the box of dildos. But so far, he hasn't found anything. And listeners of mine all over the world has buried single dildos and given me their GPS locations so that we could verify if David Wilcock finds any of the single dildos. Not only has he not found a huge box of dildos that I buried for him about a year ago, he hasn't found a single dildo that any of my listeners buried. And I think we're up to something like 15 different countries. There's dildos for David Wilcock to find in 15 countries around the world. We have an international audience here. Hasn't found a single dildo, Miss Jonaside. Yeah, Reemsey says flying saucers are blurry like Bigfoot. Yeah, funny that, right? Yes. Yes, Genocide. Reminding listeners that the dildo challenge is almost a year old now. It's been a year. He couldn't find even a single dildo. Some superpowers, Genocide. But see, and this challenge is ridiculous. I'll give you that. But so is a grown man, going on the internet claiming to have superpowers, right? Renee says, so who's going to plant a dildo in his yard? No comment. That may be considered either illegal or some form of harassment, Renee. So I cannot condone or endorse that type of activity. Rilo says somewhere out there is a box of melted dildos. Well, no, we don't really know that they're melted. They're safe, Rilo. I'm sure where I buried them, they're safe. Dark Sky Files. By the way, Dark Sky Files is in our YouTube chat. I checked out his channel, and he's got some amazing, really old videos. And I try to do Dark Sky Files. If you noticed on my channel, I try to archive some things that I had on VHS and put them on my channel. You're doing quite a better job of that, so people should go over and check out his channel. He's got a lot of great old conspiracy land and UFO kind of content that you can't really find anymore because it's slowly melting off the internet. So be sure and go check him out. Support his channel. It's a relatively new channel, and he could use a bigger bullhorn just like me. While I'm on that subject, I want to remind everybody that there's two great ways to support us. One way is to throw money at me, but the other way is to like, comment, and share. Send these videos to a friend, right? If you want to help our show, it's important. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that really does raise us in the search engine. And send some of our video links to your friends. Share our channel link on your social media. And thanks to each and every one of you guys for helping us grow. It really does help. It really makes a huge difference. Yeah, and thanks to all the super chat supporters. I want to thank our Patreon supporters. This month, I'm going to upload several new songs and also some behind the scenes stuff of some things that we're working on. You're going to get a preview of. And links in the description of the video and also in our About section. You can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1 a month. It's $1 or more, though, so you can pledge whatever you want as a monthly donation and help our show continue here. This is a viewer-supported show, and we get by with the support of viewers like you. So please don't hesitate to help us. Failing that, I know it's a rough economy out there. If anybody really likes our show and you want the Patreon benefits and you're having a tough time, just drop me an email. That's very easy to do. Drop me an email at truthseekershow@gmail.com. One word, truthseekershow@gmail.com. And that will, I'll put you on a list if you're having a rough time right now. I don't want anybody to not be able to get the benefits because they're in a tight spot right now, maybe out of work, whatever. And you don't need to tell me anything. Just send me an email at truthseekershow@gmail.com. Mention the Patreon benefits and say, hey, I'd really like to be on there, but I can't afford the dollar, or, I'm having a rough time right now. That's all I need to know. I'll put you instantly on the list, and every month when the Patreon supporters get the benefits, I will email them to you from truthseekershow@gmail.com. Don't hesitate to contact me. There's other ways that maybe you can help me. I could use somebody to help me with graphics. I could use a clip producer right now. Video editor, all kinds of different things. And out of mind, kindly sharing Dark Sky Files channel. There you go. Yeah, go over there and support his channel. I think if you like my content, you would definitely like his. He's got a lot of cool old stuff, John Lear interviews and stuff that you can't find this stuff anymore. It's sort of melting off the internet. So I'm glad that somebody is helping to preserve these things for future generations. Macadet says, wow, Stephen is an awesome friend. It's the least that I could do because the show is the benefit. Oh, yeah, Rilo says the show is the benefit. But there's extra benefits. And if people are big fans, I don't want them to miss out on that stuff because, and no, he doesn't have slides. Genocide with these slides, you're killing me, bro. You're killing me. And you know what? He keeps making these jokes, and I'm going to make a presentation with slides, and then he's just going to change it to, we need more slides, right? Once I actually do the slides, then it's going to be, we need more slides. B. Baker, thanks, Steve. Awesome show. Yeah, good to see you here, B. Baker. I see you in Goofon's chat, right? And, I'm thinking about changing the time of the show to 8 o'clock because I noticed at 10 o'clock there's a huge drop-off, and I think that's people going to listen to other shows that begin at 10 p.m. So it might be in our best interest to change the show start time. Ordinarily, we do a long-form 2-hour show, but tonight we're going a little bit shorter. I'm gonna bounce out of here very, very shortly. So I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I want to thank our chat room moderators. I want to thank our super chat and super sticker purchasers and donators tonight. I want to thank our Patreon supporters. I want to thank our PayPal donators, and I want to thank all of you guys in the live chat. And remember, it's Truth Seekers. It's not just me. It's all of us together on this journey. And I would be happy, and I'm happy to be able to take this journey with you. AJ asked Stephen, did Elizondo ever get back to you? No, and I'm up to 12 requests for an interview. But I did just get new contact information that's supposed to be the person that arranges his interview, so I'm going to start emailing them tomorrow. And I will keep you guys informed, right? Yes. So, friends, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me tonight. I can't tell you how happy I am every time when I come here and there's an audience. And tonight we had a great one. Thank you very much for being a part of mine. Tomorrow night, we're all the way from Australia. We're going to have Victor Caliero. Some of you may remember Victor Caliero was sharing some incredible UFO information from interviews he did that nobody's ever heard. He does interviews with people and then he kind of shelves them for a while and he transcribes them and he's very meticulous in his research. And many people, when he was on the show here, he was on a panel of like 6 guests here. I can't tell you how many people emailed me and said, you got to get this Victor guy on for an entire show. Well, audience members who asked for that, your wish is my command. And tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to do a special UFO report with none other than Australian UFO researcher Victor Calliero. You're not going to want to miss this because, friends, he's going to drop some never-before-heard information, and he and I will be discussing a great many things. So until next time, friends, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless all of you.